one. Hello, hello. Good evening, everyone. Or good morning. We're back after a long break with the final match of the round. Velo's champions versus the Gentleman's Club. And this is going to be an exciting match because it's our two closest seeds of the week.
Yes, VC here as the 8th seed. The Gentleman's Club as the 9th seed. Should be a pretty even matchup here. We have the lineups. I believe they are confirmed. Pretty sure VC's is confirmed. Not 100% sure about Gentleman's Club, but should be an interesting set of players going off against each other here today.
Yeah, I've been hyping this match up for myself already, because on paper this should be the closest match, and it's not really, you can't really predict which way this is going to go, because we've got a team that hasn't played as a clan for nearly a year now in the Compub, and another team that's only just come around recently.
Yeah, I do gotta say that with this track list coming up here, we got quite a bit of variety of tracks. We got some Sacred Fires, some Blue Fires, Cold Wood tracks. Should be an exciting one to watch here as a viewer. We'll be keeping it pretty fresh between races, I believe. For everybody to load in here. I guess we can go in depth for the players within the lineups. So on the VC side, we got Rare, Pedro, Mr. P, and Kino here. Say the player to look out for on this side would be Pedro. I think he's probably been playing the most ranked out of this here, so he should be the freshest. And on the TGC side, I'd say we should keep an eye out for Bozzy, who would be their main runner for TGC. A lot of their success, I think, will come from him.
Honestly,
I also see we have Climax instead of Nigador. Climax, actually, who just played in the, I believe it was the Insta FFA tournament, or no, it was the drafted 4v4 tournament that Climax played in, and actually won, taking crown in the finals match. He's been like on a tear recently, I gotta say. I think he's over 2,000 MMR now in the FFA boards. He's been playing really well. So
and also an Excel main. Or a Drift main, even.
Excel main.
Okay, so track 1, we're looking at Dragon Mines. The lobby's not far off completion now, so we'll be getting into the races shortly.
Yep, looks like we're just waiting on one more player to join in. I believe it's on VC's side. I think we're waiting for Pedro, actually.
All 4 POVs. Excellent.
Oh, 4 POVs. That is awesome to have. Does look like we do have Pedro in. Just be waiting on the countdown now.
No, I can't.
Oh,
no.
Yeah.
No, excuse me. You get to listen to Pedro's audio because
That was rare.
I'm being trolled. Oh, yeah, rare. True.
You're being trolling. Yeah, race 1, Dragon Mines. This is definitely a back row track here, with just how powerful an early mass can be on this track. So I think this will be a battle here between Pedro and Climax here, lap 1.
Also, it's worth noting, Dilladunk is relatively new to team formats. He's been pretty much exclusively playing FA until the past few months. And
Yeah,
he's got quite a lot of experience in the past few months. This will be his first test in an actual competitive event.
that is a pretty interesting point that you make there, Revy. So we'll keep an eye on Dilladont as well. I gotta imagine you might be a little bit nervous for a match like this. I remember when I played my first like real serious war, I was like a little nervous, a little excited. Cause it was like, yeah, you know, this is like the real thing. We are finally getting a countdown in here. Should try to see if we can sync these point of views up. Just nice and tidy here, so we'll have to do it later, and it looks like we'll be doing just so.
I'll have to sync that last one a little bit later. Dragon Mine's up first. Definitely, it's a difficult track to start off with because if you're not warmed up, you can make a lot of driving mistakes on this track.
That is true and something to take note of. There's a few tracks like that. I'd say Dragon Mines is one of them. Another one would be Poppers.
Oxide definitely comes to mind as well.
Oxide would be another one. So we'll see here who's warmed up and who might be lagging behind a little bit. Does look like Mr. P's on a PS5, so yeah, this kind of sense he's already loaded in.
I haven't actually synced his stream yet, that's probably why.
Might be stuck in the grid? No, we are not. We are getting away here. So... Alrighty, and we are firing off and away here as we head into Dragon Mines. Going around the first corner here, who will be bagging for a box, who will not. Does look like we do see the Cortex on the map, that is Climax, he is dropping back. We do see Bozzy, early lead for him, but he's going to get masked here as well as Aquino. It does look like it's going to be Mr. P with the mask and getting to the early lead, but unable to take the shortcut, so now it's going to be the Penta of Hakuma in first place here, as it is going to be a TGC top 2 reaching the pad. Not the start that VC wanted to see here. And Takuma holding a shield in first. He's going to have to go wide for Wumpa. So he's not going to go wide for there.
Obviously managed to get past Rez shield here. And now Rev respawns, which has given TGC the top 3.
This is actually a pretty big moment here. And it does look like Bozzy is going to mess up the shortcut. We do see an unjuiced orb here for Mr. P. He's probably going to shoot this very soon. Doesn't want to hit his teammates here though. And it is a pretty cluttered spot, so kind of difficult to use orbs on this track, whether they're wumped or not, because they just hit everyone. And we do see the orb clearing out most of the pack here. As we do see Akuma with the green shields losing fire though.
Looks like it might be Aquino behind Hakuma here.
That might be Aquino here. Oh, what a snipe there from Hakuma. If you notice there, the beaker actually stayed on Akuma's screen, even though it killed.
I think that was actually 2 beaks in that spot.
I don't know, that looked pretty funny though. As we do see here, Bozzy is the highest placed racer right now with fire, as both of these guys in the front here going to take each other out with bombs. So it's just going to leave the lead here for Bozzy, as he's just going to be trying to drive away. Takuma is going to drop down the order here, unfortunate for him.
No, but we'll try to... on Mr. P13's side.
Does dodge the missile as well. Yeah, Mr. P's probably going to want to shoot this orb in a spot where he knows his teammate won't get hit with it being unwumped, so he's shooting it fairly soon here. I'd imagine right about now would be a good time. And he does fire it away. Aquino does dodge it, and Bozzy is going to get hit after the shortcut, but Aquino not taking the shortcut for some reason. Not really sure why you do that. I guess there was a nitro there, so... it is just going to be a drive away here for first place as VC
struggling really with the shortcut
now. Bunch of struggles here. Climax taking a beaker though. It's going to be interesting to see here how this finishes out. We should switch to Hakuma and see where he is in this patch. He's going to hit a beaker too. It's a bunch of mistakes on everyone's end. I don't think anyone has fire here toward the end. Wow, that was very
It seemed like a
chaotic
team
finish
kill
there.
from Hakuma on Climax there as well, but it was so chaotic it's hard to tell.
Definitely looked like the rust was showing there for both sides of the lobby, but regardless, it is going to be a +3 here and an early win for Velo's champions going into race number 2.
Yeah, we'll quickly open these scores.
Yeah, it looked like not Mr. P. Actually, yeah, it was Mr. P who took the nitro in the shortcut, and he also got squished. And then I think it was Pedro, maybe Rare, who just didn't make the shortcut afterwards. And it seemed like anybody who tried to pass anyone after that just kept getting hit by something, whether it be a wall or item or whatever it was like there was a glass ceiling there on that third place. And after all of that, VC holds their 3-4.
Yeah, there was definitely some weird stuff going on in that race. It felt like TGC had really good positions, and then the second that Unjuiced Orb came out, it wasn't just that the orb had killed them, it was like they just completely lost their control of the situation.
It looked like Hakuma had like a pretty solid lead. It was surprising to see him lose that. Definitely don't want to be doing that, but if you want to talk about a track where you don't lose fire, Polar Pass is definitely that track. I dare say it's near the likes of Tiny Temple and how dreadful it is to lose fire here. If you lose it at the wrong time, this is a long way back to get back to that. You should also probably switch up the music here too.
Plug in these characters as well.
See if we can do it in time here before the race starts. Does look like we are in the loading screen right now, but not quite started up yet. I think Hakuma would be penta number 9 or 10? Or no. It is showing the details at the bottom there. We are loading into the match right now. So we do have Polar Pass about to get underway here. And here we go. Starting off the grid, we do see everybody gets a free Wumpa at the start here, which I think makes things very interesting because you only have to worry about one other Wumpa. There's plenty of Wumpa here. And oh wow, Hakuma lines up a very nice snipe there on Rare, and it's going to allow him to get away. It does look like Bozzy does get tagged, but oh,
the shortcut.
Very unfortunate timing for that. And it is going to be now a top 2 for VC here. It looks like Aquino and Mr. P getting away. Mr. P just holding some bombs right now. Probably going to want to line them up here for Climax, who's right behind him. And he does land the bomb on Climax. Pretty big bomb there. We see here Bozzy in 4th place now with a shield. Very solid lead here for VC at the start of this match. Pretty
we
unfortunate.
actually saw the Coco and Fuzz took an item in the
in the 8th section. And
so
yeah, he's going to be comboed for it there. Pretty unfortunate
top
for him.
2, as quickly as top 2 is gifted, it's lost.
Yeah, something you always got to be careful for, especially on lap 2, because you never really know the items on lap 1 of this track, and you can always catch the leader off guard. I'm not sure if Climax lost fire. I don't think he did. I think he just had a pretty extreme slowdown. But
especially
now it's
on this track.
2-3 here. Yeah, that 8 section is always scary, as we do see left side going to be a Beaker that puts down for... Oh, almost takes it in the Wumpa there. Bozzy does, but he does wisely avoid it. See in the back here, Akuma holding a mask in 6, and this could be big damage here if TGC uses this mask correctly. So it does look like he has some infinites right now too, so just waiting for the right time to use this mask. Surprisingly though, the amount of boxes on this track, masks aren't that effective here because of all the airtime that you get, so you're not able to stay on the ground that much, not able to benefit off of that mask speed all that much. So he does use the mask here, but not really going to get too close to him because of all these little jumps here. Oh, unless he's going to lose fire, and he does roll the triple missiles, but moves past it a little too quickly. And he's got to be careful here because he does have a shield behind him, and he is going to get behind him here with the missiles, and will he be able to get the kill here? He's going to roll a second shield. It's going to be a pretty close battle here, and able to avoid all 3 missiles there. I think that's Aquino. And Akuma there just kind of dumpster wreck as he does have Pedro now.
Actually lost fire
behind him. And is that Bozzy who did lose fire? It does look like we do have someone who lost fire here. I do believe that is Bozzy. Yes, he is in a green field, and he does take out the kill on Aquino and accidentally bombs his teammate as well. Pretty big battle in the back here. Unfortunately, on VC's side, we only see the first and third perspectives. Who knows what's going on back here? It looks like big problems here for Akuma, and I believe that's Bozzy just falling way down the order there. Unfortunate for
he
them.
actually hit Seal here, so he's completely out of the race.
I could be mistaken, but I believe that Yaya is still a dunk. He might be position glitched. I think this is actually a... Oh no, that's an orb.
No.
Okay, really far behind then. Okay, this is big problems then because this is a bottom 3 here for TGC.
I don't even know what happened to Dilladunk because we didn't see him at all race.
No, he just kind of got stuck in the back there. That could happen on this track. Like I said, you lose fire at the wrong time here, and it can be pretty grueling. I think that just happens to him once or twice. He has to go all the way around with Sacred Fire or no fire at all. You lose quite a bit of time on this track. Big loss there.
There was a lot of back spam around, you could see on all the laps, and I imagine he's probably taking trapped crates. It's very easy to take trapped crates when you're far behind and you're not rolling masks.
That is true. I think that's going to be a -11 there for TGC. It looked like there was quite a bit of a battle there going into lap 4, and TGC, they did pick up a few kills on the VC guys, but also some team kills on each other and a little bit of chaos there. They have just fallen way down the order, and no chance for even a comeback on lap 5. Pretty unfortunate for them, but if you want to talk about a track with comebacks, we got Deep Sea Driving coming up here, and comebacks are always a possibility on this track. See if we can get those characters right. Looks like we do now. Should also switch up the music here if you can. And here we go. Still waiting on getting this loading screen here. Looks like it's taking a moment. But what do you think about going into Deep Sea Driving? What do you think about this track here when you play it?
I mean, it's a good track to make comebacks on. I feel like if you get taken out in the start, it's pretty easy to make a comeback. The blades are very volatile, and power items are very effective on this track as well, and also common. So yeah, and I would have said it would have been a close track. I would have found it difficult to predict which team this would benefit. But at the moment, with the amount of mistakes TGC is making, I feel like this would be a strong track for VC at the moment.
Yeah, TGC definitely needs to get a nice race here under their belt. They blew the lead on Dragon Mines. Well, Akuma has actually blown 2 leads now, where he had the pretty big lead on Dragon Mines. I guess he just lost fire or something. I'm not really too sure what happened to him on there, but having the lead on Polar Pass and just missing the shortcut, that is definitely a big mistake there. Can't be doing that nowadays. was a little bit more forgiving back in 2019 with the old walls, where it was actually quite common to mess up that shortcut. But now with the walls being a lot easier, you really can't make any excuses for that. But here we go. We do have deep sea driving coming up here, and like Rev said with the blades, your biggest enemy here is the track itself. One of the fastest blue fire tracks in the game. You can outrun missiles here, so you're pretty much just fighting those blade cycles and making sure that you don't hit any backspin from your opponents. You do see here, looks like decent starts for both Rare and Bozzy as they're going to be going tight here around the corner. It looks like Bozzy's a little bit ahead, but Rare's going to find a bomb. You're going to be able to connect on that bomb, and it's going to be an early lead here. We do have a character swap to Megumi. Not sure who that could be. As we see on Rare's screen, it's going to be a black-haired Megumi, but on Mr. P's screen, it's going to be a blue-haired Megumi, which absolutely makes no sense at all.
Yep, that's an interesting quirk.
That is CTR in a nutshell for you there. As we see Akuma here holding his shield in 5th, and it does look like, I'm not sure who the Megumi is. I think
that's a VC player.
Could it be a VC player? It does look like no, I don't think so, because there's the Coco and the punch in the back. I think
that's
that
true.
I think that might be
that's Dilladunk, yeah.
Yeah, that would be Dilladunk in second then. And right now it does look like a 2-3-4 here for TGC, so they're got good spots at the moment. But Rare holding that first place here, gonna be a little bit scary when you know you're first place and you have all your opponents behind you. They can definitely play a lot more aggressively here. You just gotta be pretty wise with your backspam, see if you can take 1 or 2 of them off here. And if I'm not mistaken, it does look like Kakuma is being caught up quickly here by, yeah, Mr. P does land the bomb on him, and it does look like Kakuma's gonna go down, so 2-3-4 they're gonna be broken up there by the Brazilian.
Now Red's gonna be feeling a bit more comfortable with his shield in first.
Yeah, shields here are pretty huge on this track, regardless of your position. I think shields always welcome here. We do see Bozzy now. Got an infinite reserves, which, I mean, it's always nice having infinites, but there's some tracks where it's nicer than others, as he does land a pretty nice bomb there on Mr. P. And it's going to be a Kino now into the 4th position here, with Bozzy working his way back up through the pack. Orb's going to come out here, though, from VC. However, Kuma is going to find a nice Master to dodge it just in time, as it's going to be a bottom 2 now for VC. You got to be pretty careful here with Rare to make sure he doesn't lose his shield, as that would be big problems. And it does look like he's in the shield fine, but he's actually getting put under quite a bit of pressure here by Dilladonk, who's really close behind him. And Dilladonk taking a pretty tight line in the tube, it looks like. He's going to have a shot here to see if he can kill him. Maybe pass him right before the finish line. It's going to be close, and not quite enough. Going to be very close at the line, but Rare barely edges him out to hold on to the first place there. Climax going to take a nice 3rd place, as Aquino's going to round up 4th. Bozzy going to be in 5th, and Hakuma in 6th place, which is going to be a small win here for the Gentleman's Club. I think that's going to be a +3 for them. So erase the deficit off the first race and have the second race points on the board now.
And that's really nice to see from Dilladonk, because we saw 2 8th place in a row. That can lead to chaos right there, but yeah, not only is he putting up pressure in the lines, he's also staying consistent for 5 laps of deep sea driving.
It can definitely be discouraging when you have a bad start of, 2 races where you just are last and you see that scoreboard, you only have 2 points after 2 races. That can definitely get demotivating, so having a strong race like that should definitely build some confidence into him as we move into Poppy's Pyramid. And speaking of confidence, I think that would reflect how reserves are on this track. Is if you have confidence in your reserves here and you have confidence to go fast, then you love this track. And if you don't have confidence here, this is a track that you will lose fire over and over, bonk into the walls, and it's not going to be a fun time for you.
This track is sometimes a mystery to me.
Yeah.
Sometimes you feel like you've done everything in your power to keep reserves, and yet there you are, without any sacred fire for 5 laps straight.
It's always sad when it happens. Funny enough, this is definitely a track where canisters are just very appreciated here. You know, you got like a decent like gap to everyone. Normally you'd like want a shield or something, but you know, just getting the canister or two, not having to worry about your reserves as much, it definitely makes this track a lot easier. We do have here, no per se if anyone is particularly strong on this track out of this group.
I've definitely seen strong performances from Bozzy on this track.
Okay.
If he can escape, I feel like he should be getting first place.
We'll keep an eye on Bozzy here then, as we are loading into the match now. Just waiting here on our grand loading screens. It'll take about, I'd say, what, like 40 seconds or so to get through. Wish it was a bit,
it gets a bit longer
less
than that.
time.
It's funny, Martin did the King Chicken % speedrun recently, and it's like
I think
his
it's more loading screens than actual gameplays.
yeah, and also like I did a time like a few years ago, and that's the only other time on that leaderboard, and his in-game time without the load screens is the same length as my real-time run from 2 years ago.
That's funny. As we do see here, we are loading into Pop. This is Akuma going to be dropping back here, and he will roll that early mask, which can be pretty big on this track, but if you use a mask at the wrong time here, you can actually jump too high and not be able to get any reserves, as we do see here, forced to use the mask and have no reserves at all. He's going to go here, accidentally mask his teammate, but he basically killed everyone. I think the only person with fire is Rare, and he's taking a TNT, so he's not even going to have fire anymore. And after all of that, Bozzy somehow ends up in the lead, even though I'm pretty sure he died. And it's going to be a nice early top 2 here, but Rare finding all the shields he needs right now. Very notorious with him rolling shields, as he's going to find another one in third.
And Bozzy's without fire, but so is Rare.
It does look like a lot of people don't have fire right now, as that is always the theme with this track. Kind of similar to Dragon Mines in a way, and he is going to drift off the track, not the mistake that you want to make. You're going to pull the shield up on Hakuma, try to get the kill, he's not going to be able to do so, as find a nice mask at 5th here. I would think he'd want to use it right here, but yeah, no, he's going to find the missile, and he's going to be able to use it just in time, but after the team killed his teammate, Mr. P there, unfortunately. So Mr. P going to be dropping back to 8th. But yeah, not able to get Hakuma either, who's just going to slow down and get the missile kill on him.
He was opting to slow down even more. He wants to stay in 8th. He wants to be... It's a decent play here, because if he's in front of Mr. P rolls a missile or a mask, and Hakuma doesn't have anything, he just dies, so...
That is a pretty big discussion with the meta, at least with my Red side folks, is that, you know, we're talking about, like, you know, how big bottom 2 missile plays are, or just bottom spot missile plays are, rolling triple missiles, and it seems to just be an endless cycle of, you know, missiling each other.
Yeah.
But we look at that leaderboard right now.
It definitely gets out of hand.
It does look like Dilladon does put down here right before the Sacred Fire pad, but still looking like good positions right now for TGC, as they currently hold a top 2 at the moment. And Hakuma has a chance here to do some big damage. It does look like Pedro had some big problems, and it looks like Mr. P now is going to be the only line of defense between him and Hakuma, but Hakuma going into the wall, unfortunately, he's going to have the juice mask here, so he might be able to get a chance here at Mr. P. Gonna take the shield off and gonna get the kill, but he's gonna fall off the map. However, Dilladon is there.
He gets comboed by Dilladon.
Get the kill now, but here comes Aquino right behind Akuma. Akuma's gonna roll that 5th place mask though, and this is gonna be a big win here for TGC.
And that puts it right into the advantage for TGC.
Yeah, they're up 4 now.
And that double hit from Hakuma was critical, even though he respawned. Dilladonk being able to come behind and combo him on the shortcut is huge.
It was funny because on Hakuma's screen, he actually never triggered like the little shake where you get the mask hit. And I actually thought that he only taken the shield off and Mr. P had gotten away. And if that were the case, Mr. P would have likely finished 4th. But he did get the kill on Mr. P, and Dilladonk able to get the combo with the bomb. Fortunately for Aquino, Hakuma rolls a 5th place mask as well, so he didn't even really have a chance on the last jump to be able to kill him. A little bit of luck and a little bit of good plays there, and TGC have themselves a big win. But here comes Tiger Temple.
I've started to notice something weird about how the mask behaves on an opponent with a mask, on a shield, I mean, because like you saw that he was clearly close enough to take off the shield, but he wasn't really close to hit him a second time. Except I think that somehow it works where, like, because he had the shield on his screen still, it counted as the same hitbox. So he was able to get the hit on Pedro without actually necessarily being close enough. Or Mr. P, I mean.
Yeah, that was Mr. P. And yeah, that is an interesting thing you mentioned. It always just feels like you always get double hit by a mask when you have a shield on. It seems like a law where the shield really has trouble defending against the mask. But regardless, VC can say, okay, plus 15, let's put that race behind us here, because I do think that this track favors them. And the reason I think that is, if you've noticed on Bozzy's point of view, when we've played tracks like Dragon Mines and Poppies, is that Bozzy does not pulse switch. And that's going to put him at a pretty big disadvantage on this track in particular, because if you can't pulse switch at the start here, it doesn't matter how good of a front runner you are, you're at a big disadvantage.
Although, saying that, I'm not particularly sure which players in VC do pulse switch as well.
I do think Rare is probably most favored here to get a nice breakaway at the start. I think he's going to be the guy to watch here, who's probably going to get a nice breakaway at the beginning. However, Pulsewood's not the only thing here, as there is also the wall shortcut that is pretty fun to watch, but also very easy to mess up. As we do see Rare not opting to do the pulse win. Mr. P is going to be the one to do the pulse win. He's got quite a bit ahead too.
We see it looks like Dilladonk took the cut.
Yeah, no, Mr. P, as we see here, has quite a big gap already. And I think since he was like the only guy who went from pulse win, now look at this here. We have a top 3 from VC, and it's going to be Rare in the back, fighting these guys with, looks like he's got missiles right now. And he's just going to slow down here, get the kill on Hakuma, and that missile is going all sorts of directions, except right into Hakuma. Very annoying when the missile does that sometimes. And yeah, the missile just does not want to cooperate with Rare at all.
I was seeing the guy on the other side of the wall.
Wrong direction. Does look like Pedro does lose fire to something.
Rare has a clock right here.
Clocks can be pretty scary on this track, because if where you ideally want to hit your opponents is right in the spot right before the last pad on those little bump sections, because it is very difficult to drive through that under the clock effect. It does look like a bunch of guys are getting hit here mid-pack though, and looks like Mr. P is gonna have a little bit of a breakaway in the lead.
In fact, the top 3.
There comes the clock. And it does look like Bozzy does dodge it, but he's going to get hit by a beaker here. The clock doesn't really change too much, I think. It's just going to allow Rare to get back into the race, I think. That's the only thing that's really going to change from it, as Rare is going to go for the shortcut here, but he's going to mess it up. Quite unfortunately, he really needed to hit that. Now Hakuma's going to be landing these missiles on him, but he lands, looks like he's going to get 2 and a squish on the Hakuma, and like I said, it's going to be a battle in the back here between 7th and 8th. Similar to what I said on Papu's, is how much this battle really takes form here. Is it's usually these guys are just too busy killing each other to be able to catch up. And they're also going to be clearing the way
Meanwhile,
here.
in the front, Pedro makes an attempt to break into 2, 3, and 4, and it looks like it's successful because now Bozzy's here in 5th. The 2, 3, 4 from TGC is destroyed. And now
Yeah, quite the
Aquino
battle
and
here.
Pedro are 3 and 4 with shields.
It's basically a 2v3 here in the mid spots. This whole race here with VC versus TGC. Climax in second here. Gonna be wanting to slow down, and Bozzy finds a
mask
place
from
for his mask.
Bozzy.
That is a huge item to roll here. Pedro can't really do anything about that at all. But does Bozzy hold fire? Yes, he does. Can he get this 3rd place here, though? That would be big for them if he can. A few bumps here, though,
It's not gonna
and
be enough.
have all the speed he needs, but it does look like Aquino bumps the wall and he loses fire, which allows...
And he actually takes the position.
We can't actually tell, but yeah, no,
Yeah,
Aquino
he does.
breaks off of him, unfortunately. But Rare does take the 7th and Pedro the 5th, so it's a 1, 4, 5, 7, a +3 for VC, and now it is only a 1-point gap between the two teams at the halfway mark. Wow.
And you can see what happened there because Aquino sees the mask coming and he thinks, well, okay, I'm gonna have to do something here because Bozzy's mask is gonna reach me. But Bozzy actually he fumbled the mask movement, gave himself a bunch of airtime and actually lost the opportunity to get the hit there. But fortunately for him, Aquino panicked and gifted the position regardless.
He should have caught him, but yeah, wouldn't have made a difference in the end, that is true. And now halfway, a 1-point gap. I think this match has lived up to the hype as it being the closest match so far. And it has been without a question. With our next closest match, the final score being a +32. 1 point, and we still have 5 races to go here. And our next track's gonna be Gingerbread Joyride.
It's crazy to see. It really puts into perspective the impact of that pulsewood cut on the start of Tiger Temple because Mr. P, he's just gifted free first, and it seemed like only Dilladunk could actually do the pulsewood at the start there, and he didn't do it that great, which meant he wasn't actually
He had no challenge, which is interesting. You don't really see in top level CTR drift mains just being able to, drive away like that. And that's no disrespect to Mr. P, but it's no secret that the drift main class, or the drift class, is just, slower than speed. Usually, it's just speed dominant, but we say that we also have probably the best acceleration player in the world in here as well, in Climax, who I honestly have no idea how he's able to just be so competitive with Excel. It's just a mystery to me. What do you think about that?
Really, it kind of amazes me, really, because it's like they make up for what they lack in speed with their item plays, but at the same time, like, they could have both the speed and the item plays. It does puzzle me.
With just, okay, you're good with your item plays, and I guess with how acceleration works, your cart angle, the way that you can turn your cart, it's all completely different and foreign to how the speed class works. And, I guess he's just used to it now, and he's just able to be competitive with it. As far as the way the loading is going right now, it does look like Dilladonk has left the lobby. Not sure if he's having connection problems or TGC is looking for a sub right now. We'll have to wait and see what is happening here. But he's gonna be waiting a little bit in the meantime.
These final 5 tracks definitely going to be interesting. We've got 3 very item-heavy tracks in Gorge, Carnival, and Jungle Boogie. And then we've got 2 longer Blue Fire tracks, which will definitely be based on who's at the front at the start of the race and who's more efficiently back spamming.
Yeah, I kind of forget sometimes that Koala Carnival's a Blue Fire track, but it indeed is. It just has the slowest Blue Fire in the game. Still waiting here. Not really sure what's going on with Dilladong. Maybe we can. Oh,
Okay,
we have a substitute here, and it is indeed the Peruvian Nicanor Ibanki going to be subbing in for Dilladong on race number 5. So we probably have the 2 strongest Peruvians in the game right now on the same team.
Yeah, I guess actively playing the game at the moment, that's probably true.
I would say at one point, Asmodeus definitely had his time, definitely Shanks as well, but, yeah, no, Nicanor here is, going to be an interesting one to watch. I use the pinstripe, yeah. Blue pinstripe, who is that, Yaya? I think that's Pedro.
Yes.
Well, 5 races down, 5 to go here. With Nicanor subbing in for Dilladonk. I think that's how they're going to finish off here. Gingerbread, though, we have 2 Blue Fire, well, technically 3 Blue Fire tracks. Gingerbread, Koala, and Hot Air, but none of them really play similarly to each other at all. Gingerbread is, I wouldn't say easy to go fast on, but it's definitely easier to go fast on this track compared to Hot Air Skyway. I wouldn't say it's nearly as technical, it's more so of just taking good lines around this track. But the big choke point here is no question about it, the fence shortcut right after the Blue Fire pad. It's notoriously difficult to dodge items there. Not really sure what we're...
the shortcut is a nightmare. A little bit of stalling, just a bit. We're kinda in the dark as to what's happening, but
hopefully they get this underway soon. Doesn't look like all the checks are up for everybody. Just waiting on Rare to click the start race button.
it might just be that they saw one guy left and they were like, okay, well, they'll probably take 20 minutes, so be right back.
And we are loading in. We're probably going to be racing here in about a minute or so. I think we're coming in though for Dilla is pretty interesting because, like Dilla, I wouldn't say that Nicanor's got too much war experience. Like, yeah, he did play in the World Cup for Peru last year. He's definitely, played in 4v4 tournaments and whatnot, but he mainly plays free-for-alls. You don't really see him going into ranked 4v4s too much, or I think he plays a few instas. I could be wrong on that. He's not
actually
a big war player from what I know.
No, I might be completely mistaken, but I'm fairly sure Nicanor's Blindado Knight, who would have been on the Nitro Knights back in the day. So
yes,
I'd say he should have quite a bit of war experience with them, but in recent times less so.
And And we are fired away here. Hakuma waiting on the grid again, wanting to be the last one to the box set, and he's going to find an engine. It does look like it's going to be Bozzy breaking away, but no, he's not. Yes, he is. He's going to get hit by a bomb, but not hit by a bomb, but actually hit by a bomb. Difficult to tell with measure field lag sometimes. It does look like it is Nicanor fighting Aquino at the front, and he is going to land a beaker on him and take the lead at the start. He is going to have Rears close behind him with a canister, though, following suit, but kind of difficult to make up too much ground here. He does go wide for the one, but is it going to be wide enough? No, it is not. He's going to be driving away with a shield, slowing down here, and going to be a big of a fight here. It does look like Nicanor might win the slowdown war. Gotta be careful with reserves on this track, though. It does look like Nicanor did lose
the shield.
Being too aggressive. And it's going to be Hakuma, though, in second now, holding triple bombs here. And remember, he's got infinite reserves, so Raren does have to be a little bit careful, because Hakuma has definitely an easier time. He's going to line his bomb up here. Oh my god!
Ooh, that was on trajectory right there.
I think it got caught under the floor. Very unfortunate here. We have a pretty big battle here for the lead. Akuma going to be lining up another bomb. Not going to be able to quite land it, though. He is lining these bombs up so nicely. And he is just going to slow down here.
Focusing his efforts on the Mr. P behind them now, which makes sense because Rare is just out of reach at this point.
I would disagree. He was pretty close to getting him. And
the thing is, he can't really go tight in that situation because Rare can just place any Nitro Beaker and then it's over for Hakuma.
Well, regardless, the fight now is between third and fourth here with him and Mr. P. And Mr. P's going to find a missile here, which could be dangerous for Hakuma if he uses his Beaker at the wrong time. But Mr. P going to be taking the jellies there, and terrible game design for that track to feature those jellies. I hate it every time someone hits it. But you know they are there, and we do have to deal with them. As it is a 2-3-4 right now for TGC, and we do see Climax coming up here with a mask, so he's
Nicanor actually took a red beaker though, so he's without fire, and Petro's coming in behind them.
Looks like he'll be dropping down the order then. We do see Bozzy here, third with a shield. He's pretty comfortable at the moment. We already established Akuma with his infinite reserves, so he should be fine at the moment as well. It's going to be a battle between fourth and fifth, and maybe even sixth, as it is Pedro and the Yaya who is fighting them right now. It looks like he is going to be holding on to that fourth place spot at the moment. Mr. P here holding a mask. He knows that Nicanor doesn't have fire. Orb's going to come out here. He's going to dodge it. And let's see how this changes things up here, as Nicanor does not dodge. Orb does take the cut. Bozzy does have to be careful here. The Orb can double hit him, but it does not. He's going to fire a bomb back. Is it going to hit Pedro? And no, it isn't. Dangerous spot here for Pedro to be, and will he be able to hold on to that fourth place? Does not look like it. He is going to hit the bomb, but
he does manage to take out Climax.
Climax does have some issues, as there is quite a bit of trading here in these mid spots, and Aquino here might be able to make his spot here on Nicanor, as Nicanor has no fire. Will he be able to help his teammate out, though? It looks like Mr. P gets on squished a little faster and going to beat Nicanor to the line. Well,
it's kind of rough to see for...
I don't know what happened there. Regardless, though, it is a very small point differential there. It looks like TGC gets a +1 on VC. Wow. A lot happened and in the race, but scoreboard won't show it as such, as it is now a dead tie.
I feel like it's kind of, I understand the play that Nicanor was trying to make on lap 1 there, but at that point he already got the first place.
Yeah.
He could have just driven and escaped, and the fact that he, after trying so many times, he still didn't manage to land the shield on Rare. I feel like at that point, you kind of have to think, was it worth it to try that hard?
Yeah, no kidding. Hats off to Rare there. He definitely was able to put some pretty big evasion moves there and pretty much steal that first place. It is always, you know, what's the word I want to use here? Lucrative, I should say, to get that kill there, especially when you know that your teammate's in second, and you know you have the shield, so you can get the easy shield tackle. But it does not happen as such, as we do see Hakuma. Oh, looks like he had a disconnect at the end of the last race, so he's just joining back in now. As our next track is going to be Meteor Gorge.
I do feel like in most cases, it's mostly important to secure that first place, because once you have first place, you have control of the back spam, and it's such an advantageous position.
Yes.
That I feel like it's maybe like that situation was difficult because yeah, if he did land the shield, that's top 2 straight away.
It is a big gamble.
But even if he just carried on driving and escaped, he would have had 4 more laps to make that possible. That top 2.
That is true.
But instead it was the other way around.
Perhaps maybe that's the war inexperience we were talking about, where in FFA, I think that is definitely a good play to make if you can get that kill there, because usually if you kill second in an FFA, second has to deal with third, and third deal with fourth, and the lobby usually gets clumped like that, and first can usually just escape. However,
I'd say it's the opposite. Like in an FFA, you just drive away in that situation.
Regardless, though, we can question that decision all we want. We still have 4 races to go here, and here is one of them, Meteor Gorge. Definitely a front-runner's track here. It does look like it's going to be rare getting taken out early here. And some 150 fire for Mr. P, so he doesn't have quite the speed he needs. He's going to find the shield, and he's probably going to kill Nicanor. Yes, he does. And it's going to be a 1v2 at the front there between Aquino versus 2 TGC members.
Nice
and
from
Aquino going to get hit there. Unfortunate for him, and Mr. P going to find TNT after the last jump, and gonna just bounce it off the fire. Unable to get the Wumpa there though, so it is going to be a nice top 2 here for TGC. They are looking pretty good this race, I must say. Climax does get hit though in mid-pack, and it looks like they're gonna drop to bottom 2 here at the moment. Maybe Pedro in the back there as well, so it looks like a little bit of a split gap here. Bozzy opts to go wide though for some reason.
They
Not
took
sure
a
why
TNT before the shortcut then.
Oh, that is so unlucky. So he does have to go wide, and it's going to be quite a bit of a battle now between the second spot here. A 2v1. Bozzy does find a shield though, that does give him a little bit of comfort, I'd have to imagine. So he can just focus more on his lines here. Missile gonna come out here though from, I believe that's Metro Tight. Will it take anyone? It does take Akino's shield off. It does look like Mr. P is going to have a missile now, so if Akino's able to get this kill, it could be some big trouble here. We do see later in the pack, it's going to be a battle again between Blindado and Rare. 2 pinstripes going at it again.
Another shield from Aquino. Gets taken off once again by Buzzy, but Buzzy's stress is really strong here. And pretty much a replay of the previous lap with that Nitro there.
Unfortunate for him. So it is a top 2 right now for TGC, but also a bottom 2 here. You see Climax, he was pretty far behind. He's slowly been chipping up that gap, and so it also looks like Nicanor had some problems as well, so it is a pretty clustered up VC in the 4, 5, 6 positions. We just see an Understorm come out. It's not going to hit any of them at all, but we also see a Juice Storm come out here. It is going to hit Blindado though, so I don't think TGC is going to be able to do anything about it, especially with VC all having dodges for that orb that we're not really doing much here. But regardless, it is still going to be a +3 here after this Meteor Gorge for TGC, which is a nice small little win. Pretty scary though.
Buzzy has been so impactful at the start of the race, getting those hits on the other team.
Yeah, it was
pretty much, it feels like he's won like every 1v1.
He's definitely, like we said before this match started, going to be a key factor in TGC if they're able to break away or not, is how Bozzy is able to play at the start of these races. pretty reliable front runner once he's up there, but not always able to be at the front.
And one detail that was super important is we saw they had the top two. It was Hakuma and Bozzy, and then it was Pedro, or it was one of the players from VC with them on that first lap. And on Bozzy's screen, he looks behind, and it's Hakuma between the opposing player, and so Bozzy goes wide to be able to get in a position where he can get the hit, which is something that many teams wouldn't be able to communicate.
That was actually very good spacing there. On that lap 1 right before the shortcut, they were able to get that 2v1 version without having to sack either player, which was pretty big for TGC. After that, they were just able to hold that top 2. A little bit of a scare with Bozzy taking the TNT, but still, he is riding off of 5 podiums now in 7 races, which is a pretty good stat line to have there. As we are loading into Koala Carnival now. And switch up the music here if we can, please. So something that in the 44 tournament about, I'm not sure if it was a month or 2 ago, but we saw TGC playing on these Pulsewood tracks. We didn't really see many Pulsewood players on their team that we thought they would definitely struggle, but regardless, they were able to make pretty good teamwork in that 4v4 tournament. And even though this is another Pulsewood track here, I think it's the only Pulsewood track, real engine Pulsewood track, I should say, in this war. It's going to be interesting to see how they can make that teamwork play out here into Koala Carnival.
And it's like, it seems like players that have not learned Pulsewood, they've got very good at countering it. And it's kind of funny how we've got from, originally it was like, okay, well, this is just overpowered, we can't do anything about it. And then now it's got to the point where it's kind of, there's people that you just can't pass with Pulsewood because they're just brick walls when you're trying to drive past them with these speeds.
We do see here, though, as this race gets off, it looks like an early top 2 here for VC. And they do have Climax right next to him, but it's actually a top 2-4, and it does look like Climax may have lost fire. Or did he slow down? It's kind of hard to tell on this track.
I think that's just the Excel diff coming out. The Pedro Pulsewood's in.
Wow, that was quite a play there by Pedro. It is a top 4 now here for VC. This would be big damage if they're able to hold on to just, a few of these spots here. It doesn't look like Kino. He's going to take a green beaker there, though, at a pretty inopportune time.
And triple missiles here on Hakuma. He could take out both Mr. P and Aquino.
Yeah, well, Mr. P does hold a shield right now, so he's going to block out one of those missiles. And Hakuma has to double tap there to make sure he gets the other kill, but he is going to take another missile of his own. So it is a top 2 right now for VC. That missile's not going to connect there for Mr. P. He's going to drive away now with a shield in second. I believe Rare might have a shield in first. I don't know if he has kept it or not, though. As we do see here, in the back now, it is quite a big of a battle. It's, regardless, after all that, it still looks like a top 3 here for VC. And Bozzy finding another engine, but as we see, not able to do engine Pulsewood here, so not going to be able to do much with it, and he's going to take a red beaker there. Not what you want to take at all. Bad situation now. It is looking like this could be a VC top 4 if they're able to hold on to these spots. It's mainly Pedro doing the dirty work right now.
MX is right now trying to land a mask hit on Pedro, and Pedro's rolled a shield. It's definitely up to Climax here, and he lands the bomb right after Pedro passes.
Looks like that Nitro just appeared in front of Hakuma, so he's going to have to... that basically takes Hakuma out of the race now. Very unfortunate for him. So we see Bozzy here with a mask now, and it looks like TGC has gotten around Pedro, but Pedro is just the one engine away from just getting himself back up into the mix. And
He's
this
got
is
two shields to get past now. But
yeah, this looks
top
like
3 is out of reach, unless Hukuma or Climax rolls a power item here.
this looks like it's going to be a big race here for VC. They're definitely going to get a double-digit victory, as it looks like can't really tell what Pedro's doing. It looks like he is going for an engine booster though. TGC needs to call this out here, as we do see Bozzy go wide, and he is going to get the kill here. And is Pedro still going to get the spot on Climax? It's going to be a tie, actually.
A tie, actually. And considering the situation he was in,
wow.
I feel like that's enough for him.
Yeah, that's a plus 14. The rare plus 14 for VC. Absolutely huge win for them there. They were just able to get those early spots at the front and control the race after that. Early top 2, and then with Pedro getting that ultimate bomb on Climax, TGC just didn't have an answer after that.
Now an 11-point difference going into race 8. It's definitely getting close, but this could be the final race.
Big swing there for VC to take a nice race there, and despite how close this war has been so far, an 11-point gap is big for this war's standards here, and if VC is able to get a +9 on this track, that would put them ahead by 20, and should confirm them as winners of the war. Amazing how things can change that quickly. It's like everything's either a +1 or a +3, and then we just have a few of these races where double-digit victories can just completely change the tide of the whole war here. But it's not over. TGC definitely have a chance of bringing this back here. I would say Koala was probably their weakest track in this list here, and they were able to at least get some spots over Pedro. So we'll see if they can recover here and make it interesting during these last 2 races. This is mission critical here though for Bozzy, I think. With how TGC is structured, Bozzy definitely needs to get the breakaway here early on if they want to have a realistic shot of winning this, I think. If Bozzy is able to get a nice first into the blue fire pad, then they can control the race from there. So it'll be interesting to see if they can be able to make this work, or if VC is going to run away with it here, as we are loaded in now. Just getting through the cutscenes here, and we'll have this race fire off in just a moment.
It feels like we haven't really seen what we expect from Nicanor. Like, he's usually a very consistent front runner, one that you'd expect to escape in these races, and he just hasn't been able to. We do see Rev falling off the track, which is giving TGC a better chance to escape here.
This is exactly what TGC needs right now. They do have the top 2 at the moment. Actually top 3 now, and with Mr. P falling off the track, this is big trouble now for VC, as it is top 3 with just Aquino up there to fight anything about it. If he goes down, then this whole race here could go up in flames. And it does look like he is going to get hit in the middle of the
it's a top 4.
Oh my goodness. However, if I'm not mistaken, it does look like Climax is a little bit slow. I think Climax did lose fire. So VC does have a little bit of hope here, as they are going
falls off the track.
Oh my god, and a clock's gonna come out now too. So Bozzy is going to dodge the clock, but Nicanor is not. And Nicanor needs to get back to the pad because he does have Pedro closing in quickly on him. And it's gonna, yeah, Pedro's like right on top of him now. And Pedro get the kill there and help VC out, as they've made quite a bit of a turnaround there with a pretty timely clock. Or is Nicanor gonna be holding on to that second? It does look like he is going to be getting hit here, but he is gonna take Pedro with him.
They both take each other. A nice bomb from Rare to combo.
Very bomb there from rare.
Very, very flashy for
That was
for the
very nice.
situation.
I like that a lot there. But now it's the story of this war here. You see very mixed spots here throughout the lineup. And Mr. P holding an engine here, but he already has movements. He doesn't want to activate this near his teammate, so he's probably going to look to activate it now. It's going to be a fight here between 3rd and 4th. But Mr. P holding a shield right behind Nicanor. He's going to probably activate this here. As we see Nicanor activate a blue shield of his own. I thought Mr. P would have definitely caught him there, but it just didn't happen like that. And he's going to take a beaker there. Akino's going to get shielded right after that now. So VC with 2 members, no fire as well. Oh, but Mr. P's going to hit a nice reverse missile there on Climax.
Although Hakuma's still able to break past the pack into 3rd place. But Nikanor's actually got no fire as well.
So it looks like a solid 1-3 right now for
He
TGC.
lands the backbone on Petro, but Petro managed to hit him as well, to force him to respawn.
Here in the mid pack, and it doesn't look like anyone's got fire right now under 4th place. So this is where most of the fight's gonna be. Is it looks like top 3 is just kind of running their own item list. Something else to be careful though is it looks like Bozzy's going to be lapping over this pack, so Bozzy's going to be entering himself in the mix here. VC has to be very careful not to lap hit Bozzy and catch a penalty at the very wrong time. This would not be a good time to catch a penalty here. VC just needs to survive through this race by their own standards, as it does look like Bozzy's right on top of the Yaya, so he has to be very careful there. Pedro does
But also, the Yaya here could potentially land a lap hit.
Yeah, the lap hit would be very scary. It does look like bottom 2 right now for VC, which is pretty good spots right now for TGC at the moment. And it does look like Bozzy is going to make it to the finish line, and Rare is going to be able to hold on to the 2nd place as Mr. P the 4th. But when it comes to the battle in the back, it's going to be TGC with the 5-6 spots at the moment. And it's actually not yet over for Mr. P. Even though he does have the infinites, he does have both Climax and Blindado breathing down his neck, so he has to just make sure to drive it to the end here. Any small mistake, it does look like the timer is going to play into effect, so we are going to get the DNF timer playing out here. Going to be a 1-3-5-6 for TGC, which, if my math is correct, 1-3-5-6 is 6-4-3, so it's a +7 for them, which leaves us a 4-point gap going into the final. Too close for comfort, I'd say.
Yeah, it's kind of getting insane now. We're seeing so many blunders from either team. It's definitely getting chaotic, and yet it's staying close at the same time.
Well, we have quite the track to end on if we're speaking chaos. It's time to do the boogie, Rev. Oh no.
I don't think either team's happy about the match being decided on this track.
Every time you see Boogie getting played out in a war, it's always scary. But having it be the last track, it's never fun.
It feels like it happens so often.
It really does.
This is the final track in so many matches.
It always feels like the last track is Jungle Boogie or Polar Pass, like every time. I don't know about Polar Pass, but that's how I always feel. Is that Polar Pass is usually one of the last tracks to always play out. I should also switch the music here. But regardless here, we do have Jungle Boogie coming up as our last track. And, throughout most of the differences and whatnot, something that is similar to both Jungle Boogie and Hot Air Skyway is if you're in a top spot, you can, if you're first with a bit of a gap, you usually can hold that gap. Breakaways last on here, and if you can escape on this track, then you can escape. The problem is escaping, and it can be pretty tricky to do so, because usually the guy who escapes has to get a little bit lucky. Either lucky in that he rolls the good items at the start, or lucky that he doesn't get hit by the good items at the start. Regardless though, this is definitely going to come down to lap 5 here, see who will win this war, and be able to get themselves a point for the league. Something crazy will happen. I agree with you, Exodus. It is definitely...
Something crazy. It's inevitable.
It always happens. But if something crazy always happens, then does that really make it crazy? Whatever. We're starting here. Last race, Jungle Boogie. You see Bozzy going fast in, going tight. He's going to roll a TNT. Not what he wants to roll, so he's going to drop down below here. It does look like Pedro's going to be going off with an early lead. Bozzy's going to shoot a bomb at him, but Pedro's just falling down off the track everywhere. Kind of hard to see. It's very laggy for Bozzy right now, and it's going to be an early breakaway here for Pedro, as we do see Akuma in second right now. And we're talking about early breakaways. That is exactly what Pedro wants to see right now. Having an early breakaway like that is very crucial on this track here. You do see 2 TNTs on the cut, so...
I'm just going to take one.
Here for Bozzy,
and we also see the shield on Rare.
Figure out where
misses the hit on Bozzy now. An Unjuiced Orb comes out, and that's going to hit Pedro here in the shortcut.
Bozzy loses
Bozzy
fire.
actually gets beacon sniped.
Well, that is very uncostly timing. It is going to be a top 3 right now for VC, and that is a pretty big gap right now for VC. We're talking about chaotic endings, and this looks like it might not be chaotic at all into lap 5. That is a pretty big gap there. Try to make up if you're TGC. I don't know. This is looking pretty good for VC right now. Mr. P is stuck in the back here, but he is going to be able... No, he's not going to be able to get the kill on Climax, but Akuma having problems of his own. It's really going to be coming down here to Blindado and Bozzy if they're going to be able to catch this top 3 here.
Two shields here.
Blindado is just shooting the shield off. I think you have to be a little bit more patient than that big guy. Regardless, though, it does look like Akito is a little bit slow at the moment, but they definitely need to at least kill 2 of these guys if they want to have a shot here at winning this, and I just don't think that's going to happen.
And it all came down to that beak snipe. I can't tell if the crate was already trapped or if that was the beak that Rev threw, but Bozzy even went wide there.
It does look like Blindado is closing in on Aquino, but it doesn't look like it's going to be enough. And as we do see, they come across the finish line. It's a top 3 for VC, and they are going to win week 1 of their league matchup and move on with a point. Big war, big race there for these guys. Big congrats to them. This was definitely the most entertaining match to watch this week, without question. And it really came down to the last race.
Hopefully, now that we've got this score finally, we've got this match finally finished, we get to look at next week's matchups, and it's definitely more exciting because it's when the first week it's lower seeded versus higher seeded, and next week it's gonna be the winners versus the winners and the losers versus the losers. So it's going to become a lot more balanced.
Regarding still, it is highest seed versus lowest seed. So, VC, they were the 8th seed here. And they would have gone against the 1 seed if no lower seeds won. But, the 1 seed, which is FXT, will be playing against Ragnarok Squad, who is the 10 seed. And that is probably the match that I'm most excited to see. Both teams had the biggest win totals out of all the teams in week 1. Both of them able to land 100+ wins, and it's gonna be an interesting matchup to watch between those two. VC is gonna square off against you guys actually. VC versus GSC, and it'll be who else here on the winning side. Regicide will be going against VE, and Godzis going against the B squad of FXT. Definitely some good matches on the winner's side, but we also have the loser too. Ripper Rudy is going to have a chance to redeem themselves after quite a horrid week 1, to say the least for them, going up against the Rangers of a Saudi Arabian team. TGC is going to be taking on KND, and given how TGC played today, I think I would favor them in that matchup. Six versus CG, Crazy Genius, and RNG versus Mist are also pretty similarly seeded, so those will be 2 close matches to watch as well, I believe.
Here we go. Here's the matchups up on the stream. I got to say, that match definitely lived up to my expectations. And I think
Week 1 is in the books now, though. We can move on to week 2. For all the updates with the league, it's on the CTR Competitive Hub Discord. That's where the matches will be scheduled, the streams announced, all that sort of stuff. If you're not in there, you gotta be in there now. And I don't know, it should be an exciting week to watch here.
definitely looking forward to it. Alright then. Do you have anything else to add to the outro here, bros?
Well, I just want to thank VC and TGC again for that match there. That was a fun one to cast, and hopefully for you guys watching, that was a fun one to watch. No, we don't have a Facebook or an OnlyFans, guys. Come on.
Everyone relax. Everyone relax.
Not yet. We don't have that paid content.
I did hear TikTok's in the work though, so.
Ooh. TikTok could be fun.
You few Zoomers in the chat.
That is definitely the Zoomer app of the decade. No question about that. I think that's about it for me, though. Is there anything else you'd like to tag on, Revvylo?
I'm happy. Thanks for both the teams for providing us 4 POVs to switch between. Definitely made it easier for us to keep track of what was going on in a very chaotic match, so hopefully we get more matches like this next week and onwards. We will see you soon. The round 2 matches will be played between today and Tuesday the 26th. No, 19th. So we'll see these next set of matches happening in the next week. I've got Karma trying to join my parsec right now. Get out of here.
Get out of here, Karma.
Anyways, thank you thank you everyone for watching. We'll end the stream here. See you all soon.